it's very clear that West is in decline because there is censorship in Western countries. In America and Europe, you can't criticize Israel. In some of these countries, you land in trouble. If you take George Galloway, he was in the British Parliament. 5 times he was in British Parliament, and he and his wife was arrested in the British airport, and he was arrested under terrorism laws, and he was detained, and his phone and computer were checked, and now he's in exile. He doesn't live in Britain anymore. So Britain is one of the countries which has strong censorship. Then there were two people, right? Hassan Piker and Saint Luger. I can't pronounce his name. He's from Turkish origin. They have talked about the genocide in Israel, and they were banned. They are banned from coming. They had visas, everything, but when they came to Britain, they were banned. So this really shows it is when you are in decline, then you have this censorship. In America also you have in this kind of thing, right? If you criticize genocide, then you are accused of being anti-Semitic. Okay? So this is another symbol when saying that when you have decline, you are going to have censorship. Now in Sri Lanka, we have this premium in petroleum, substandard coal. So I expect censorship to be there in Sri Lanka, and a person who is in the forefront is in this is Champaka Ranawaka, but he has a whole case regarding a motorcycle accident. So we have to watch what is going to happen to him and other people. So I think if you look what is happening in the West, the censorship in the West and the decline of the West and the censorship in the West, they come together. And we should be concerned about this because that is going to affect Sri Lanka also. Okay. Then, so I mentioned about George Galloway. Then I mentioned about two people with Hassan Piker and other person's names I can't pronounce properly. Uga. He's a Turkish person of Turkish origin. And when he landed in Britain only, he realized that they are banned. Then we have somebody called Jack Bard. He's a Swiss military. He wrote a research paper. BAUD. I mean, sometimes you have silent letters in this. So when I pronounce his name, Jack Bart or something like that, he was self-spoken. Then we have Scott Ritter. Scott Ritter was debanked, and Jack Bart was also debanked. So the easiest thing is to you don't get access to your banking account. That's the easiest way to harass people. So this is a symbol of decline. So we had to watch for the censorship in the Western countries, because that is also coming to America. Now in Sri Lanka, you have the premium. We have substandard coal, and we have the premium on diesel. Okay, and this government, like the Yahapalana government, the bankruptcy in the Yahapalana government was not to do with bringing in large amount of vehicles. So this government also has brought in vehicles, and it is said that the loan taken from IMF has 8% interest. That means this what is happening here is similar to the Yahapalana government, where this IMF loan will also, if there is 8% interest, then the IMF loan is also going to result in, most likely it is going to result in bankruptcy. That means we will have to go to the BRICS. Okay? Then we had the other person, Richard Medhurst. Okay, he was talking about brutality of the war, and he has his phone and computer was seized in Britain or in a European country. I just can't remember. I think it was Britain or in another European country. So this censorship in West signifies a decline in the West. So if you have a decline in your Richard Merst, right? If you have censorship, if you can't. We talked about the two wars. Iranian war. Iranian war is directly connected to the genocide in Gaza. Okay, so Gaza genocide has very negative repercussions in the West. Now, Muammar Gaddafi is labeled as a dictator, but he talked about what is happening in Gaza. He predicted that it is spread to Africa and it will go beyond Middle East. So he used the label Middle East. He doesn't use the label West Asia. So actually, if you take Ibrahim Traore, recently talked about killing of Muammar Gaddafi, because he is also, at least there were at least 18 coups, attempted coups against him, and he is aware that what happened to Muammar Gaddafi could happen to him. Okay, so he is very much aware. So if you take these two wars, not two wars, it is the Ukraine war and Iranian war. Iranian war is deeply tied to the genocide in Gaza. Okay, and now that is spreading to Lebanon. But Lebanon, if you take the Hezbollah has killed a lot of Israelis. More than 1,000 Israelis have been killed in Lebanon. So what you have here is censorship. It goes with decline, right? Censorship in the West. Whether you are a military personnel from Switzerland, right, for writing a paper on this war, Russian war with Ukraine. For he was debanked for writing a paper on Ukraine war. So it goes censorship. So this censorship possibly come to Sri Lanka, because if the IMF loan is, if the interest rate in the IMF loan is 8%, then we are going to, that is not known properly. If that is the case, we are going to have censorship. Okay, so we might have to go to BRICS Bank and get rid of the loan, renegotiate you might have to take a loan from the BRICS Bank, and we are also watching the decline of the American economic system. It is very apparent that the American economic system is going to falter, right? And looks like there is going to be a severe recession. Then, of course, if the value of the dollar is going to fall, maybe we will escape another economic crisis. But because of certain, we allowed a lot of vehicles to come in, and that was due to certain pressure coming from outside, and we have enormous amounts of because of we bought a lot of vehicles. When you take the customs, the collection at customs is very high, but then our foreign reserves are going low, right? So almost that we are going to go for another economic crisis. Only thing that will avoid the economic crisis is a severe crisis in West, so that the value of the dollar will fall. But if there is a crisis in the West, then our export earnings would reduce. So we might have to go to BRICS and we might have to get out of this IMF. And if there is a severe crisis in America, it's not sure what will happen to the World Bank, the ADB, and the IMF, because they mainly deal in dollars. Okay, so what is happening in the West is very, very relevant to Sri Lanka.